Well, hi, notice my IRL. I can see John and that's your thing. Was when it was in this shout out to my with the MC show. We got Fred and Fit. Oh, all right. Yes. This is it.
Here we are. We are. Let's get going, shall we?
Week 23.
All right. Yep. So we're good? Check. All right. Yo, Hadi, I'm going to need you to put in some headphones so you can make sure that our audio is good.
Yeah. I'm going to need you to mute your microphone as well because it's going to pick up echo.
Yeah, only unmute if you're trying to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Only unmute if you have some good Hadi input.
Oh, yes, he will.
Oh, yeah, he will.
All right. Yeah, you just obviously keep it just use this button.
I think we have a little bit of feedback. I don't think it'll pick it up.
Oh, yeah? A little bit of live monitoring. No? Chat, is the audio good?
Yeah, Shamar, what do you think?
Hadi, can you post this on? Oh, you did. Okay, say that. Unfortunately, John, bro, this looks nice. Look at this.
Yeah, that's actually so fire.
That's so sick, bro. That's so sick. This reminds me of that really cute one where Hadi was at his grandma's house. So he had the what's that? Yeah, you had the webcam on with the hoodie. This is similar. I love this. Bro, you can. That's so good. Okay, thank God. I was really mad that cable came in. Oh, nice.
Wait, what?
That's good.
Whatever. What happened, bro? It's so good.
Yo, thank God that cable came in a box rather than in a like a bag. I was really pissed off. Dude, I'm gonna need you to turn that off.
Turn what up? Oh,
the mod. I was really mad that in a box because I'm looking at cable in a box, but you're not to be helpful because we can prop on. Because I forgot the
Yo, the audio is fine, dude. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, fucking here.
Welcome. And we're live.
All right. So I need to.
No, you can sit back. Sit back. Who's picking it up? There's a bit of an echo.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, and I'm watching.
All right, we're dressed up.
All right. Well, you don't have to talk loud. Listen, like this is the first studio. All right, this is MOTVLIVE, and like we're just, if you look outside, right, there's beautiful highway. I don't think you can see other than the glare. Is that? Oh, is that Sunset Boulevard? Is that Dow's Lake? Oh my gosh.
Wait, what?
Motive.
This is Motive HQ. It's gonna be good, bro. It's really sick.
So we're dressed up fucking guy.
Yeah, Motive Black. That's the guy that we come.
You to come. You don't on camera. And yeah. Fuck, man. All right. I was telling John before that at the time, like there's like a big mansion, a round table on the side, almost like
anyway. Oh, never mind.
Stop.
I'm not trolling, bro. Look, there's two audios. Close your microphone on the Google Meet.
Yeah, you're good.
There we go.
All right. John knows we got.
See, I'm just part of the AV crew, right?
John's part of the AV crew. There's a lot of shenanigans that went on in the AV crew. If John was there, there would have been more shenanigans. But also, I think less would have happened because he would have been there. So he would have.
Yeah, I would have stopped things from happening.
Happening in advance.
Because I'm halal. I'm not going to Janine. What is it called? Janine?
What?
What is it? Jalil? What is the Islam hell?
Hell? Oh,
Jannah.
no, that's heaven.
Oh, it's just. That's not what it's.
Hey.
Now we're already gonna need the seconds delay, bro.
The second, yeah. Okay, we started 9:22, so we can filter things out if we need to. But
Yo, so like,
yeah,
I don't even. Wow, like this is crazy.
What
man.
I was
This
saying is
really
that
the first studio.
the way that this is gonna work down the line is there's gonna think of it like a mansion on a hill with like a helipad, like that's completely like hanging off of it, right? And then, but except the circle is just like a round table with like a ton of people and like a ton of like GoPros and shit. And you just get a ton of people to pull up. You get like the
The
funniest.
helicopter lands on the round table.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I meant.
Okay, yeah,
See,
yeah.
this is why we work well
round
together
table.
because
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
brains just
It's
get creatively pick out more and more expensive
it's like
shit
a
to
20
do.
foot in diameter. 20 foot in diameter.
Yeah, just make
table.
it a full runway for like a full like Airbus A320.
Yeah, and we're
right?
all on the side of the chairs,
right.
So we could feel the rumbling.
Yeah,
and, like,
we have like a.
every celebrity there.
That's right.
Everyone. Nelk
We
Boys.
choose.
Andrew Tate. Joe Biden. Obviously, we need Sleepy Joe in there.
I like you. You're really looking for a way to diversify that crowd. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't put it into one bucket of data.
Yo,
But
centrist.
anyways, the point I was making is that I'm moderate. The point that I was making is that there is that like I kept dreaming about that, but then when we like actually set up the studio, I was so hyped that like since even though this is like relatively nothing, I was actually like more hyped about this than I was hyped about the thing down the line. But yeah, as you said, fucking Sunset Boulevard Avenue, we're coming for that house.
We're coming for that, bro.
We're
Rexall,
coming for that.
Coming for
That's
you.
right. That's right.
Better watch out. Buying your hot air balloons.
All right.
Oh, yo, we need to get a hot air balloon.
We should get a hot air.
So sick, bro. Imagine, bro, like a podcast on the hot air balloon, bro.
Bro,
He wasn't feeling that. He
That's
wasn't really
fucking
feeling
fire.
that one. We could
wait,
get blimp
sorry, I was
too.
I was just distracted because I was
You know
looking
there's
over
only
at
like 25 blimps.
Okay. Do those still exist?
There's 25 of them. Only.
What's the point of a on the hot air balloon would be really sick.
Blimps?
No, I agree with you. The on the hot air balloon would be sick.
Like in Saudi
Like,
Arabia.
in-
Or sorry, no, it's in Turkey.
Bro, you can do it on the fucking center point field. That'd be so funny.
You know where they got the festivals?
Yeah.
Do that in Turkey. And imagine you just see like all these beautiful colors and artwork.
Okay, this is a phenomenon. This is a phenomenon. People see something.
We go to the Gatno Hot Air Balloon Festival. We make our own hot air balloon. All
That's-
the black and white writing.
Hadi, you're muted, by the way. Please,
Dude.
Hadi, please remember. Okay, Hadi, please remember to unmute yourself when you speak.
You need your own mic. Just put your headphones in so you can talk like right into your mic.
But anyways, Hadi just referenced the Gatno.
No, I mean like so it's like next to your mouth.
Yo, by the way, Hadi, just so you know, I literally just looked over at my laptop and these mics do not pick up when you talk at all, which is actually perfect.
Let me see.
Anyways, I just referenced the
Okay.
Gat. That doesn't mean that.
1,
you
2,
should
3.
test it.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yo, it's okay. Just make
Never
sure,
mind, Hadi. You're right.
You're
I was
good.
wrong. It does pick your voice up.
Just speak softly into the microphone, Hadi. Yeah, because you don't want echoes. We want the highest quality.
There is,
As you can see,
bro. There
we're
is too
starting
much
early.
fucking.
there's just a lot of
Like,
there's a lot of
headbutting here.
yeah.
Alright.
There's a lot of alphas in this room,
Alright.
particularly Hadi.
Particularly, that's right.
He's a Sigma male.
Anyways, okay. If we all just tone it, we're right here. We're at here right now. We're gonna need to take it down to here. All right.
We're gonna need to take it down. Take it down.
So
a notch,
what I was talking
baby.
about is that Hadi was referencing the Gatno Air Balloon Festival, and this is the point I was making. People will go see one event happen in one place and think that that is the only place that event happens, and it's like exclusively limited to that event.
I think that's like only
Bro.
a high school thing.
Bro, fucking hot air balloon festivals are not a Turkish thing. It's just a thing. It's just a
No, but they're so big in Turkey. They're so big in Turkey.
You're still muted.
You got
What do you mean?
Yo, I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it
Oh,
now.
you're speaking into OBS. Okay, my fault.
Oh,
my
okay,
fault.
that makes
That's my
sense.
fault.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay.
That's good though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I see.
Alright,
I
right.
see.
Okay.
I say
So look,
it,
we're
bro.
out here. We're out here talking about air balloons. So setup wise, this podcast so far has been better exponentially, but content wise, it's been pretty shit.
Yo,
So-
It's just it's the first pause, first live. Like if you can't
Yeah.
see, like maybe you could show the audience from that angle that we're in university right now. We're at we're at Harvard University, in their study halls. Obviously, we got
Looks a little funky for Harvard
Yeah, and
University.
obviously right behind us is
It's just
Sunset
modern. It's
Boulevard,
their
so
new.
yeah.
It's their
This is the Mike Ross Harvard University.
yeah.
All right. So yeah.
Think about it when all the boys are here, man, and they could all have their own input. That's just gonna be insane.
Except we need to get it like smooth and unlocked because considering what happened here tonight, it's like with all the boys here, it's gonna be so chaos.
Well, obviously, this is the
Bro, we
first
cannot
one.
get out to a fucking soccer practice.
That's on them though.
Because
This is like-
we literally go to almost every practice.
Yeah, but like,
That's true.
well, because we're just the MCs. You know, you're the team.
I also
captain,
just
Hadi.
feel like I can take like an hour out of my day to attend a soccer practice. That is like 10 minutes walk. from my
Well,
house.
we know that they have many hours out of their day to spare.
That's right.
It's it's just that a particular friend Zaza is compelling some of them not to.
Listen,
Shout out
I
to
didn't know that people still smoke weed.
Dude,
I feel like I forgot that was a thing after I left high school.
you know it's like getting more and more legalized. I have a friend who started a distributing business. Like
Oh,
it's a
I
completely
mean,
legal.
yeah,
one.
good for him. That's like good.
Making
Bro, have you seen
Yeah,
that,
but, like,
one Vancouver
so
store?
much.
So it's good for the economy, yeah. But I mean, we got back in like with Omar Darouge, we're always talking about that Prov guy, the douche of Insta, and he made Prov, I think that's his name, Prov.
Never heard.
Yeah, Indian guy. And but no, I mean like it's fine. It's good for the economy, but like if you smoke it, the thing is from like a distribution standpoint, my view changed. Like yes, it's legal to distribute, but from a using a standpoint, like fuck all that shit. Like
I think
you were degen in 2018 and or whenever it was legalized.
I think that's an interesting point. Like I think the amount of people who continually use it won't change that much. I think like if people were statistically going to be more liable to be like hooked on those sort of things, that like I don't think it changed that much. It's just that it made it like more culturally acceptable.
Right.
And
Right.
but like
It will over time for sure because there's dollars behind
but
it.
it still doesn't necessarily negate all the actual common sense aspects of it, which is what we were talking about in your car when we were talking to somebody and they said that they were surprised about how it would surprised that people felt that smoking weed is a bad thing to them.
Man said that? Really?
Really, man said that. I don't know. It was just some anonymous source.
No, sorry. I didn't mean to try to trip you up. I forgot.
Oh, you forgot the
No, I
conversation.
wasn't trying to trip you up.
Oh, I thought you were trying
I
to.
wasn't trying to catch you to-
Okay, so basically the conversation.
Bro, this is what
he
this
told me.
podcast going forward will literally just be me and John trying to fucking violently like get each other to say something that will like get us into shit.
Well, this won't get us into the shit. It's just we're not name dropping, but like you told me that you were having a conversation with someone.
Oh
and
yeah.
That they said like you said
Yeah,
like
okay. Actually,
you
yeah.
remember what I'm
So
talking
it's
about,
it's
right?
the perspective. I mean, it's just another example of people live in completely
Well, explain the perspective.
different worlds. Sure. To the specific example is that the person said, "I don't even smoke that much weed," and I was really like taken aback by that because I was like, "Whoa!" I never even considered that was like a thing. Like to me, it's like if you smoke a little bit of weed, like who the fuck are you?
Exactly. There's no threshold. Like
Right.
It's
There's
just, like, you
it's just
smoke any
it's either
weed.
you smoke weed or
It's
you
like
don't.
you
Right.
fall into a
Whereas
category. But
whereas in their world, it's not a matter of that.
exactly, and it's like a cultural thing, and it's not bad to smoke weed. Like I'm not against it. Like obviously.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm not
culturally,
saying
it's
I'm not saying
acceptable.
I'm not saying I looked at them
However,
negatively. I'm just saying it's
Exactly.
you see the
The-
difference in like the difference in culture.
yeah, because the difference in perspective is that there is such thing as like too much weed and and like
and that level is different to different people.
I think that should be a warning sign to anybody though. If someone thinks there's like a quote unquote too much point when they use, then that should be an issue because it's
Well,
almost
then
like,
ideally, you would.
but it's almost like in the context that they use it daily. Or like more often than not, because it's like I didn't even do that much. It's like I didn't eat that many donuts today.
Right.
What do you mean today? Like,
Well, it
the
depends.
fuck?
If you're trying to stop doing a bad habit, then that's a great thing to say.
And that's the case, right? That's how we frame it.
and
It's quote-unquote
that's
bad
a very
habit.
noble thing to do. But you know, if
How do you
I
truly
mean,
feel on
look, people.
drugs? Like, let's get the full outlook. Let's lay it out on the table.
Okay, I think I thought about this a lot throughout my life, but like I think about it less now. But when I was like going through middle school and high school, I think I thought about it a lot.
Middle school, the fear mongering had it in my brain almost every day, man. Like I was so scared someone's gonna like go up to me and offer me like a cigarette, and I'd have to be like,
Dude,
no,
okay.
you can't do that to me.
Going back,
I'm a white
so
knight.
I remember being in grade 6, and I remember were making me like so freaking like these guys were telling me like the shittiest things about Green Bank. They were making me think like the first day I show up, like they're making it seem like I get out of school. Which, by the way, SRB Intermediate probably is like this now because we lived in a fucking different era.
But Green Bank was right next to an elementary school.
Right, that's true.
It was only grade 7 to 8 too.
They
There's
were
no high
making me.
schoolers.
They were making me think that it would be like on some fucked up shit, right? So then, anyways, we pulled up and it was fine. It was no big deal.
I honestly was thinking that Green Bay Middle School was gonna be like straight out of styrofoam with the kid.
Right? Yeah, that's what they made you think. That's what they made you think until we stepped up and it was fine. And you know there were some great teachers there. And
Yeah,
some not so great teachers. But
Middle school.
dude, I actually remember the first day of grade 7. I do. I remember we all pulled up. I remember
I do
walking
too.
into the
I swear we lined it
the
up.
gym. Yeah.
We lined up. Didn't we not line up? Like,
All I remember
outside in the
is
courtyard?
right.
Like, saying hi to all of our friends.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like, hey, remember me? Like, of course, I just met you.
Uh-huh.
And there's like cliques. I remember seeing like people with groups. Like,
Dude, the
mosh out.
cliques were fucking like this. I remember walking into the gym, but my first memory really is walking into the gym, and for some reason I just remember like everybody sitting, but then Luca is like standing up and fucking like going being hella funny and shit.
Really, that was his intro.
That's what I remember.
Oh,
Bro,
you know what? I do.
Bro
remember
actually
that.
introed himself nicely.
That was actually like the first time I ever met Luca, and I remember
Really?
I remember like meeting him back in the classrooms because we were assigned seating,
Okay.
and like I'd never seen this guy in my life, and all of a sudden this guy was on step, and then I was like, oh my god, this guy's in my class, and I was so excited. I was actually excited.
Your
I
class.
knew this guy was alpha.
All right, going.
You were just
Yeah, so
segueing so hard.
Yo, Luca.
I mean,
Luca's
in grade
always has a good
7,
place in my
Luca
heart.
was fucking like.
He was
Sorry,
good.
your class in grade 7, I meant to say, was like
Oh,
so
we were
sick.
lit, bro.
I was like, I
That
was
changed my
this
life.
close
That
to
class
being
changed
away
my
from it.
life.
Really?
Yeah, bro. I can't believe it. We were like on opposite ends, bro.
What do you mean?
Like you were in Miss Taggart's, I was in Mr. Simpson's. We
I
won
was
the
so
business
nerdy.
team.
Yeah.
I was.
Oh,
Also
we won the business, dude. I remember we always talked about this. Like we both mumbled in the
I
other
know,
classes.
exactly.
Yeah,
We didn't
yeah.
even know each other. Like we didn't meet until grade 8, but like
It was all James back then. Yo, James was such a funny guy. I still remember the first day Miss pulled up, and yo, this is a story. Like if you know, you know. Like Miss Graves walks into the classroom, and it's actually like straight out of a fucking YouTube skit. Like every guy is like, dude. She was.
yeah.
She was.
That
But
was
anyways.
crazy, bro. And she was the whole time we were all jealous, bro. We were like, damn, he got it.
But and then James
God damn
dropped
it.
like a joke, right? To her. That's the first thing. He's like, so because she's like, yeah, I'm gonna be here for a while, you know. She's talking about this, and James raised his hand and she's like, so I guess you could say that you'd be digging your grave here. James was such a jokester.
Wow, what a finesse, bro.
In fact, that kind of sounds like you, bro.
Yeah, bro. I was making jokes on the other
That's
end.
hella
too,
witty.
man.
That's hella witty.
I was making so many jokes that Mr. Simpson on like the 7th day, he was like, yo, you need to stop.
really.
Yeah, because I kept interrupting class.
Yo,
I never stopped.
Speaking
I
of
never
witty jokes, we talked about this. I'm gonna mention it on here. I told you that time where, bro, probably the wittiest joke I've ever heard in my life is from Josh when I was like in Bayshore with Hadi, and he asked me why I didn't come to watch the Minions movie with all the guys, and I said that I was like doing gymnastics, and this guy said, I guess you weren't so flexible, but like he said it like without like the thing is this is like when you say like super like overly like sophisticated like witty jokes.
The delivery
The delivery is always the opposite. The delivery is like always like low key because you just don't know if people will
that's
pick
what
it
I'm
up.
saying. Like
So he
he's
like
oh,
said
you're
it like
not
super like to
flexible.
the side, and like at first I didn't pick it up, and then I'm like, bro, how the fuck did your brain
That's how you gotta be, bro.
like that was? And looking back now, I feel like it's more simple. Like at the time, and I guess that's because I've sat with it. Like at the time, I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
that is
Oh,
like
the
so,
analyzing
like
it,
that is like some,
No, that shit.
that is so
insane,
many
bro.
levels.
It is, bro.
Like that's
And-
actually so funny.
yo, like,
and then I told him like that is, it like because it took me a minute. It took me longer to process the joke than it took him to make it up, which was kind of crazy. Because I'm sitting there looking at him like, it's
That's
like
crazy,
eye blinks,
bro.
and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's the funniest thing I've heard in my entire life.
That's how it has to be though. I think that's probably how he just thinks anyway. Like for me, it's the same way. Like I make jokes in my head, bro, and I'm just like, ha, 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 ha. Like laughing in your own head, bro.
You gotta, yeah,
You gotta think of the
right.
perspective,
you always
bro.
think about it in your head, and you like stop saying them because nobody would like.
Because you don't assume anyone would get it. That's probably why it sounded so low key. Because he probably muttered it under his breath, and he just wanted to make himself laugh. Like that shit's crazy, bro. Anyways, back on what we were talking about, bro. How do you feel about substance usage?
Okay, yeah, I could do the whole history. We probably will do a lot of history lessons. As we get older, the history lessons will have to obviously go. But in terms of my current perspective today,
By the way, we don't support we don't authorize nor condone. That's the right word. We don't condone any usage of substances. That's up to you or if you're a minor, your superior supervision.
yeah, all motive parties are 21 plus in the United States, 19 in Canada, 18
We have
in Quebec.
never, for reference, we've never used any substances. Like never.
And for reference, I'm 27, so yeah.
Yeah.
So John has never used any substances. I'm 19 on the other hand, so I have. It's no big deal.
Yeah, that's like he turned 19. Just black tar heroin.
Actually,
just
wait,
in your veins.
but hold on. Is it illegal if you did it? Is it illegal to admit to doing the crime?
It's not a crime anymore,
No, but like,
bro. Actually, it is. It's not. It's
because
perfectly
if you
legal,
did it
bro.
underage and you admit it now, are they gonna fine you? On the
Bro, people do
backlog?
that all the time, though.
The backlog?
They've never. I've always wondered that. They say that all the time. Like you see these comedians say, "Yeah, I was doing like black tar heroin, cocaine, meth, blue crystal since I was like 4."
Well, I remember there was this whole thing with these rappers snitching on themselves in their songs, and then
Yeah,
like,
they
I
never
don't know
get
if this was
exposed.
true or not, but there was like all this talk about YNW Melly getting locked up from his song. I wake up in the singing corner. I wake up in the morning. I got
That was
murder
even
on my
in prison.
mind. He did.
Think that's what got him arrested?
Well, maybe he got arrested again.
Yeah, imagine, bro. That definitely won't give him probation. I wake up in the
I
morning.
mean, it's not
I have
bad.
murder on my
No, well,
mind.
he's focusing on his art instead of.
Nah, dude,
doing-
probably got
Really?
scared the next day. They were like closely following him.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine
They were,
he's going to
flying
like
for him.
the hearing. Imagine he's going to like the court hearing, and like he's like that, like his lawyer is advocating for his probation, and then like one of the people just play the song.
The music was good,
This you, Belly,
bro. But I was talking about this with Neil the other day. Like some of the music that we were listening to, like in middle school, was like so whack. Like I remember when I was in grade 7 and I
Luca
first
was,
found
like,
out.
the aux player, and he played fire beats, bro.
I'm not saying it was whack like that. I'm saying like we were like 12, and these motherfuckers was talking about the most vile shit.
Yeah, but like that was like when the rap game was like coming up. Like that's when Kendrick,
2016,
Yeah. Kendrick,
The
that's
whole-
when
the whole XXL freshman freestyle.
that's when was it Dan?
We know.
That's when Dan came out, bro. by
Who?
Kendrick.
Oh.
That's when like I remember Samron explaining to me what a blood and a crip was when I was singing.
Did you actually listen to Kendrick in grade 7?
Yeah, he was fire.
That's kind of real.
Yo,
That's
my
when
music-
Kendrick dropped. It's like one of his.
I was listening.
Yeah, that's where Damn came out.
How do you listen to Kendrick in 2016?
He listened to Juice
I didn't
WRLD
think so. I didn't think so.
Kind of not
I listened to
really.
Juice WRLD. I listened to Juice WRLD in 2023.
Yeah.
Well,
Hadi, are you messing with that new Juice WRLD album that just
Yo,
came
I don't
out?
know why people like hate on
Which
that
one?
when they're like a new fan. Like I discovered Kobe like only very recently.
Of course you're gonna hate on that.
Why?
Because you're not real. Like he's
But what does
popular
it
now.
mean if it's real? I only knew of him like
You're a
after he died.
consumer. You're a consumer of the.
Everybody
product.
else is a consumer.
No, I'm saying you're a consumer of the marketing.
I mean, like if YouTube Shorts is
How would you
marketing,
feel? How would you feel if?
What is these marketing?
How would you feel about? How would you feel if somebody loved you when you had 5 fans versus when somebody loved you when you had 1 million fans?
Okay, well that's a little different.
It's exactly the same.
That's not the same though.
Yes, it is.
Because I value the substance that Kobe brings. I don't care about like the fanship, and I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, let me wear my Kobe merch now. Like, oh yeah, let me get my 1997 Kobe jersey. Like, I'm not gonna do that shit. I'm just be like, yeah, he's fire.
That's what I hate on though. And you would hate on it too, bro. Listen,
What if I was
listen.
born? Like,
Let me
what
just
if I
say
was
one
born
thing. Let me
yesterday?
just say one thing. We're all super kind and virtuous and gentlemanly until somebody tries to fucking roast you, and then the
That is
ego,
over.
and then the toxic masculine ego
The
shatters.
super id,
And-
the
and
super
then-
id becomes a super ego, and it destroys everything.
And
that you
then
ever think of.
anything is up for
Good
attack.
reference. Good
Yeah.
Anything is up for attack.
Yeah, it's what the id, the ego, the super ego.
I'm not familiar with all this terminology.
Okay,
Okay,
you're never a scientist.
it's true, guys. I'm not even in computer science anymore. God, no.
Where you
Oh
go
my
business?
God, you're a
I don't know.
business major.
Carleton University.
Getting
Don't.
there.
Hadi, aren't you a business major?
No.
I wasn't even trying to roast you. You
I'm
are.
a freaking health science major, bro.
Yo, seeing you deliver a baby is like I could never imagine that, bro.
Bro, we've talked about everybody who we know in health science major delivering babies and how that would be hella crazy.
Yo, who do you think we would
Wow.
trust?
Yo, if it was a
I'm gonna
guy,
make a
I would be like,
millionaire doing brain
yo,
surgery.
dudes do that.
No,
I would let
dudes
Duchenne
do
deliver my
not.
baby. Yeah, dudes do that.
You
There's
don't even know what I
OBGYNs
got.
that are.
Yo, Duchenne, that baby would be blessed. That guy,
Wow.
he would actually pull it out.
You
He'd be like,
baptize them immediately. Be baptized.
he'd actually pull it up. He'd like carry it. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of my,
I feel like he'd drop it too. He'd be like, oh shit.
bro, he would fuck up like that. He's like, oh, sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Andrew,
Big song.
Andrew, when he goes mainstream, all he's gonna do is just freaking reference Drake. Like,
Hadi, I am mainstream. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yo,
I
You're right,
I
you're
am
right, you're
I
right.
am a consumer oriented businessman.
You know
I
what
don't
I'm
care about
actually-
any art. It's all about the money. If your art is marketable, I like it. If your art isn't
Really?
marketable,
there's like two.
I don't like it. What do you mean there's two?
well,
Oh.
I always get like I've been getting so many like curious questions lately. Like I think I spent like 20 minutes like debating. I'm just gonna sound like a douche, so I'm not even gonna finish this sentence.
No, what are you debating?
This
Wait,
is
do you
like-
need Hadi
like
to
the
turn off
most
the
cock
volume
thing.
for a second?
No,
Oh,
no,
it's
it's not
just-
weird.
it's just-
bro.
it's not weird,
This
it's
is actually
What are you-
douchey.
okay, then I'll
It's
roast
this-
your ass. What are you
This sounds so
debating?
stupid.
What?
I was like waiting for like Michelle and Daria to pick me up with James, and I was like trying to like derive why the center of gravity works the way it does.
That's not douchey. That's good.
bro, just had a random thought.
How's that good though? Guys, look, I'm just so curious.
No,
like, I'm
I
so
mean-
cool. I just debate
Okay, now you're
scientific
trying to
facts.
now you're trying to act like I would.
Because I hate when people do that.
But
I
the thing
hate
is,
when-
you hate when people talk.
I hate when people like
Bro,
tell-
this thing of
you gotta be humble.
like hating seeing yourself in other people. You sort of know what I mean. As in,
Oh
like,
yes.
and it's funny because it's true. Like, you remember when I told you I was like in this lab and I saw this one guy and he fucking pissed and I was like so mad at him.
Yeah, bro.
And like the reality is, I was just looking at myself, and
Yeah.
not in like a depressing way. It's like I was like, you think you're better than me, sir.
yeah, you think you're him, bro.
So yeah. So look, but that's the thing.
No, I think though I got really good at like identifying it and then just keeping it note, but I think I got like very good at like making sure it doesn't affect my decisions because
What do you mean?
bro, I don't like realize it that much, but I remember like back then I was super like irrational. Like I would get emotive so fast. I would have so many emotions. Like I'd get so petty.
You were a
so
teenager.
quickly. Well, of course. But
Yeah,
now like when
yeah,
I
easy.
see people like myself and them, I actually just pity them low key.
Bruh, okay.
Like,
All
like
right.
You nailed that one on the
but
mark.
it's not even like myself. It's like my past self, like how I used to act. That's what I usually see it.
Yeah.
Like when I see people who are like
Yeah. No, I did hate that guy.
I see people who are like deceptive, like really deceptive, and I get like incredibly.
But the thing is,
Annoyed
if the
about
people they're deceiving don't know that they're deceiving them, then it's fine.
But they just deceive themselves, and they're gonna get a big wake up call after that.
Bro, this whole thing about wake up calls is in being bad is such bullshit. Like, yeah, you do things, you learn things, great. And this is actually something I think about today, where, because we're talking about like not feeling so great anymore. But the thing is, like, I think I actually learned on a much greater scale and in much shorter time frames than I learned before. It's just that because I'm used to learning things, like for example, learning things about myself, learning things about the world, whatever. The novelty of learning new things wears off. So whereas, let's say like a year ago, the things that I learned today a year ago would have had me like fucking tripping balls and being like, oh my god, the world
Yeah,
is
we
so
just
incredible,
kinda
right?
peak.
But now, like the novelty of learning new things wears off, so it doesn't feel as great. But it's still
Yeah.
important to always learn new things.
No, I
In
definitely
reality,
agree.
some of the, especially like in terms of personal realizations, because I've gotten so good at it, it's like things that I learned today, like just like this amount, just like think about it in your head, like yeah, that makes sense. You're like whatever. In fact, it's sort of like it's almost like existentially depressing or existentially nothing, because it's just like, okay, I have this information now. Whereas, 2 years ago, that like I wasn't even close to learning things at that scale in that short of a time frame. But when I did, they blew my mind just because it was so cool, because it was novel.
Because it changes your perspective so much.
Right, and you just don't get used to change your perspective.
That's what I've been thinking about so much, that we change our perspectives a lot.
But the thing is, this is fine. And this is fine and good.
And I never said it was bad. I'm saying that I've been super focused on how these perspective changes and what are like the most important perspectives to have, and more so how to unify them. Like I really think that,
bro, this is so sick.
I've been super,
this is so
I've been super like invested on like mastery. I've been so obsessed with ever since we started this journey, honestly. And I realized that there's nothing else that beats mastering a skill. No matter how good you are at talking your way out of things, like I realized this is a side tangent, but like we've gotten so good at trying to make it seem like we're doing work. And at the end of the day, I think this is like the 80-20 rule, like 20% of the people employed actually do 80% of the work. And I think that just comes down to, again, like mastery. Like the CEO deals with all of the actual high class managerial problems. Then we have the CTO who actually does pretty much all the designing and fixing all that stuff. Yeah, and I think it's the same. I think like it's the same thing when it comes to like mastery as a whole in any sort of skill. And I've been so interested on what actually makes those people how they are, and more so how to match the perspectives that they have. Because like you see often, like there's this key characteristics with a lot of CEOs, like I mean, I guess you can quantify it as ambition, but there's also like certain like obsessions. And then you even have like psychotherapists say it's like they're low key a bit like sociopathic. But regardless of what it is, like there's like some common traits, and I think there is common ground to that. But there's also a lot of things different that comes with perspective, and I'm really trying to find like what's like the one sort of like lens. I think we talked about this before. We were talking about like the colors of the lenses when it comes to like looking at the world. And I've been so fascinated with like how does it, what is the difference between someone who is genuinely mastered creativity and someone who's mastered like one skill? Like what does it mean to have the most general and the most applicable perspective in terms of creativity? Like we talk about general knowledge. Like is there such thing as like the best general person?
Yeah.
So I just wonder like how can, I think that like we get so much better at changing our perspectives that we're getting to a point where for you and I, that it's just a matter of choosing how we want to view the world, or rather what scenarios enable us to choose different sort of perspectives. I think adopting different perspectives is incredibly powerful. And we mentioned this so many times before, but like the example is like, you know, when you're a CEO, you have like a science person who sees everything through a science lens. Then you have like a math person, and then you have like your CTO who thinks of everything in terms of engineering. It's like that, but you're just one person. And you know, this goes back into everything we talk about AI, because more and more we're going to need, like, as I think it was Naval who said it's about to become like a narrator sort of economy. And I think that's going to be incredibly interesting how people adapt to that, because that's like the one thing that humans are exceptionally good at, which is having holistic perspectives on the world. So as what we were talking about before with learning and developing, I think that substance abuse actually hinders that to a great degree. And so, circling back to what the question was, how do you feel about substances?
Well, that was a very what's that thing called? Bipolar. Like you totally. This guy really is like. That's it's funny because I was.
This is what if you do the Zaza, this is what you're missing out on. This is the kind of mental ability.
John, you're so
you're
so forward thinking. How much chess have you been playing?
How much chess? Not a lot.
You know,
what's that, Hadi? What's that?
Oh my God, he's calling out. He's calling out a person. Don't worry.
Yo, what's going on right here? Shamar, I fucking love you.
He's not even here, bro.
Y'all just need
You
to-
didn't say anything. Well, you said bro sounded like a chipmunk. Anyways.
Wait,
So-
why do you want it? Why is this so important?
This is not. I think it's an interesting
I do
topic.
think it's interesting.
And we were talking about it like in the car, so I think we should like expand on it more. Like what is exactly the case?
Yo, what the fuck is happening right now?
Hadi, sit back down. Freddie's here, bro. Freddie. This is good. This is good for Freddie to listen. So how do you? Let's hear it.
I mean, I feel like the first caveat I think of is that I don't care to judge other people. So it's kind of hard for me to paint my perspective because I sort of catch, like, I don't, when I make a decision to not do it, I don't. Well, you should help me out here, because why does that really
judge anybody? We don't make fun of anybody.
No, but
I see how you really feel. How do you really feel?
I don't feel overly negatively when I see somebody who I don't care about.
Okay, of course. But let's what is the actual philosophy behind how you think about
Well,
it?
I think a lot of the times, I think that it's common, not just for me, but for most people, that they have that they're not really like their opinion when they see somebody doing something is not like just absolute. It's based on what they expect of that person.
Exactly.
Like,
So,
if I
but
saw
like,
you-
what causes those expectations? That's what I'm trying to dig into.
So
I just want to know what you're thinking.
see, that's the
about
thing, right? That would be like an example pointing to the fact that it is a levels thing. And yeah, I mean, in the society that I live in, there are
We
a
live in a society.
ton of different factors that shut the fuck up. That's why I said I live in, because I don't want to sound like a douchebag.
We live in a society.
When I say society, I'm not trying to sound like a fucking artist. I literally mean that, like, by definition, society is the best term to describe
It's
what I'm
just funny.
talking about.
It's just a good meme.
How else should I describe this? In the
Yo, but like
so
it's really interesting though, because like these stereotypes, as so to speak.
You know what?
I think
This
they're
is the
based on
thing.
very real moral standards.
the thing is,
They're
it
not even,
doesn't.
like,
To me, it
morality.
doesn't matter what they're based in, because most decisions are not made in principle, because most principle like cannot be derived.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that really hit me, as in
Really, you believe
adulting.
that? Most
I think-
principles cannot be derived.
Are not derived. It's not, and it's just not reasonable to derive them, because it would take too long in order to get action. And then there's too much there's just too much logic to it. You would find there would be a fault somewhere. So absolutely, most of the actions that are taken on Earth are based on empirical data, and you know, business academia is a great example of that. But probably most academia, like things are case studies, and this is the way that businesses typically work. Like, they work off of
I
case
think
studies.
the empirical, though, for not for this case, but in terms of like human data, it's just a good metric of measuring the subjective information. Like, for example, through empirical data, you could determine directly, like, you know, how many people are using or whatever, and like the age ranges between them, depending on, like, you could also say like, why are different people using these things. Yufeng says cute voices because we sound like chipmunks in grade 8. But what I mean by that is that like I think there is a logic to derive from it, and well, like if there's a reason why people do things, I don't think it's like it's not as random as it
There is a
could
reason.
be.
I agree with
Because-
that.
and that's what I'm trying to discuss. Like the reason itself, like why do we, like, for one, like we could
I have
discuss
no
like,
clue. That's
exactly why people.
I know why I did it, but I just
It was
would it be fair? Well, no, I know all the
But, like,
different
why do people
perspectives I
continue
went
to use
through it. Well,
like why when does it become an issue, and why do people also see that as an issue if it's a routine to use substances, particularly marijuana? I think there's a lot of stigma around it still, but it's shifted, not even in like a more like, I think it's stigmatized, but like because it's a part of our culture now, it's like controversially stigmatized, as in
what do you
like
mean?
like passively stigmatized, like microaggression type shit. Like you know, when people have opinions towards like any like political conversation, it's part of that is what I'm saying. Because like usually we like
I would
those
agree that
opinions-
it does resemble politics.
but like you know when like it's like an opinion you can't share. Like you like I feel like you get frowned upon.
No,
if you say that
I
you're
agree with that.
opposed to
Yeah,
drugs.
I could say that it's like it's generational. There's like a ton of different
Mhm.
characteristics that I could name, which
The
they would all fall
leftist
into.
agenda.
It does resemble like that sort of kind of political thing. Yeah, you're right. Like if you were in a group where everybody, you know, hated pot, and then you low-key smoked pot, not because you're not, just because you don't think there's anything wrong with it, then you would probably keep that a secret. Or and then if you
No, I was
expose that
thinking
about
the
yourself-
other way around. If
What
you
do you mean?
dislike somebody from smoking pot, then you'd be more ostracized than the opposite.
well,
maybe
no,
this is
that's
because
well,
of
it goes
our
both
youth.
ways. It goes both ways.
Yeah, that's true. It depends on the group.
saying that it's like saying that it
Okay,
resembles politics.
But
goes
okay,
both
but
ways.
then so then
And but that's but now
But then why
see,
would you-
you
why
said
would you
you said oh you don't judge anybody, but this is the point. You're literally saying it's political, and you and I both very well understand
yeah, we
this-
don't give a
that
shit.
we don't give a shit about
Yeah.
like we're moderate. So it's the same thing. Like it's you're saying it's like politics where I don't judge somebody who doesn't vote like me. Well, same thing. I don't judge somebody who doesn't
Yeah,
smoke
absolutely.
like me.
Oh, but I'm still interested in like well then let's still back it down. Like how do you actually feel about the substances? Of course, we don't judge anybody. Like we don't really.
It's
care.
hard. Like what do you mean feel? Like in what way?
Yeah, by the way.
Personally,
Why don't you? Yo, who
okay.
said that?
You know what?
I let read this quote though. I actually think it's really good. Ain't no better mind than a clean mind.
Yo, you know what? I actually
This is the sentiment I agree with. But go on.
Well,
ain't no better mind than a clean mind.
Bars.
I mean in most contexts I would agree.
Which he's referring to like
But
the
I
impairments
actually
that these substances bring
know,
on.
I actually think I figured out something that really plays well into what you were saying, because you were talking about how I feel and you were talking about biases, and actually I realized something. I had like growing up between age 12 to age 17, I had like a lot of things that happened in my life like socially in relation that were basically completely affected by this like this motif of drugs, which actually completely affect probably my like implicit bias towards it, and I just don't see any problem with that bias because it's like it works fine with the
And
identity
through,
that
like,
that I
real
hold for myself.
experiences, it makes sense why you.
Yeah, that's right. I like had like shit friendships because of weed.
Mhm.
Fuck, I've seen it, like I've seen people like do bad things because of it, sure, but like just like in context that you guys all know about my life, like I really fucking, yeah, that's right. Like my kind of feeling that like if I see somebody and I'm like why are you smoking weed, like fuck you, is because it like you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like it really was like that.
Because like
Where-
what happened was that like it was very real that we've lost a lot of like friends to drugs, and it's not even in the sense like they got like addicted and they got
Yeah.
back, but it's more or less like their friend groups completely changed.
That's
The way
right.
that they acted changed, and it's not a bad thing. Like obviously you can use in moderation and it's fine, but it's like
It's just been a really negative motif. That's like a good
exactly.
put it. And yeah, like we've said this throughout our lives that we've lost our friends to drugs, not like in the sense that they died. Like
Yeah.
I mean we've seen some people go to rehab, but like it's not like that big of a deal.
And it's not even like the drugs themselves pulled them away. It was
It's just they're associated with it.
exactly
and
yeah. And this was like
Yeah.
before low key when it was legal, and also more so because they were minors.
It's also it's still not legal for minors.
Well, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
No shit.
So
So like they were still part of that, like that underground culture where it was still like pretty
yeah,
like there was still like
So-
what is it, like illegal drug dealers as
Right.
well. So and that's the friend groups that was very bad.
so that's definitely where my kind of implicit bias towards it comes from, and it's a really like strong negative feeling towards it. Like truly, it just feels like bummy. It feels bummy because
But why does it feel bad?
Because
Again, like we still
Because of all-
are so fine with it. Like we're not saying we're
yeah, like it doesn't actually affect that much, but I mean some of the I think mostly because again, like I've seen different characters in my lives pick it up, and then it basically started this like low key battle, and then in the end they fucking lost, and it's like and now it's associated, and it's like the thing is, if you go down the timeline and you tie it back to any one point, you would like what was the variable that came in to their life like as they were going on, and it's like you point to the drugs, and I mean that's
I think
probably
it's deeper
fairly
than that.
accurate.
I think there's a characteristic that leads them to get into the drugs in the first place. Like, I don't know, like I see a lot of like similar, I guess, archetypes that end up using drugs.
That's also true.
And I think I don't know if this is not concrete, but I think there's a couple ways a couple of reasons why, not to overgeneralize, but I see like obviously escapism is the biggest one. And shout out Freddie. He said, great point, John. I swear half of the friend group fallouts in high school came from one kid smoking weed and the others not. And that's very true. Like there were big groups that like just like fell off just because someone just left. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I think escapism is a huge thing, but it's also like it's corny to say like peer pressure, but it's a really indirect form of peer pressure that we see nowadays. And this could be coupled as well with social media. And I'm not saying like rap caused our generation to do drugs, but like it did. But there was a whole culture around it, and once you immerse it, like I was like immersed in it for a little bit. Not saying that I used.
I mean, the culture, the culture has changed with generations. However, every generation, teenagers, used and abused drugs.
It's like cigarettes back in like the 1980s.
Yeah. So it's
literally what it
so
is.
there's nothing
cool for that.
There's nothing bad about saying that the culture we lived in happened to, like, every single teenage culture has perpetuated that.
Yeah, but I've also seen more and more like I don't even know what the trend is here, but like a lot of
that's why I can't really talk about
wealthy children, like well-off children, are smoking, or not even smoking, like more so a lot of other drugs, like very well-off kids in suburban areas. I find that like
they can still, I think they can still find themselves in like a culture that perpetuates that.
No, I'm not saying they can't, but what is like? Is there a trend there that a lot of wealthy people?
Can't break me.
I don't know. See, that's really my problem. I'm not trying to be careful for like political correctness.
No,
I really hate talking about other people's perspectives because I always say this, like I'm so like so I don't know. I feel like you probably like have been much more like inquisitive and like learning about others, and stuff.
I guess I'm just interested in it.
Yeah, and you
more so
talk to so many different people.
I think I'm just more interested in it in the fact that like I really, I don't know, maybe I'm just too speculative trying to find a deeper cause, because I think that
this is the point I make a lot though, is that the deeper cause exists, but we have to be so careful in our wording, again, not because of the correctness. It just be by definition wrong to say something caused it when we know full well that it would be a never-ending research project. But we can still talk. Like I'm very interested in this subject.
I'm just interested into like what are the, I mean, I guess it's pretty clear, but what I was saying is that what is like the stepping stones to fall off?
This is real quick. This is the reason that extreme like opinions are so helpful, or are what are the only thing that is helpful.
Speech, baby,
is because, like, for example, for me, as in like when we talk about the cutoff, like the acceptable amount of weed to smoke if you're around me is 0, is no weed at all. And that's the reason, right? You're out here and we're gonna spend some time looking around trying to find, and we'll find a few things, but in terms of actually getting an answer to what is actually the right amount for different people, we could research this our whole lives. And that's the point, right? When it comes to these things, because to find an actually tangible answer that we know is like fully true and fully true in principle would be essentially impossible, because it would take you forever. And it's like recursion. Like it just keeps on going, even though every time you get closer and closer and closer, but it's never ending. So that's why tactically it just makes sense for me to say nothing. But anyways, back to the discussion.
It's just that like why is it that there's always like a common stepping stone where people get obsessed with a particular thing and then they fall off?
I just think it's so much more. Like, these things take long.
We got time.
Not long as into discussion. You're saying, right? You said it's a stepping stone. That's the point. It's not one variable that leads them into that. That's why I call it a motif, as in through time. If we had to pick one sort of theme, it's drugs, and that's what causes emotions and bias. However, in reality, I think you remember this too from perspective. It took so much time for me to see the quote unquote druggies. Full well that they fell off. Like when it happened, and that's why
Really, it took
when
you time.
happened.
I swear when it started happening, I knew it was like that. Like maybe not so.
Well, maybe you weren't around it
Yeah,
in like
that could
in like
be it.
early days like me, because
Yeah,
or
that could be
maybe
it.
you were, I don't know, but the point is that, or maybe you just,
Well, no, there's one person that we could say that like you could see the signs.
the thing that's my point, right? It took time. There's signs.
Let me
But
just
the
say
point is
though,
that
like
once you see it, you're like, oh, it's over, and it really does feel like that movie kind of vibe where you sort of are like, damn, like fuck, like it's done. It's not like the fall off happened. It occurred,
Yeah.
right? But you, at least, I guess you're good with this stuff. But for me, it's like looking forward before it happened. You're like you see it. I don't know. You can only connect the dots backwards.
how does it even happen? Like, man, it's just so far for me to even consider that could happen. Because like for me, the reason why, let me just say, like the reason why I ever would feel adverse to it, and I typically don't like we have fun. People have fun out here, and obviously we don't abuse substances, but the reason why I think most people find it dirty is not in the sense of like you're using it, even if you use it on a daily basis on your own terms. It's just that when you sort of break the social barriers and put yourself out in public about it, and you're inebriated when we expect you to be there fully, it really is like disrespectful. Not in a sense of like, oh, you're using, but it's the fact that like you don't care to be present this much, that you have to escape in some degree to be here, that you don't have the self-control to actually be present in
That's
that
right.
moment.
And that's one of the main reasons. And funny enough, that reason actually, it falls into this theme of bumminess, of not being able to show up.
That really is
So
degeneracy. It's just
right,
being
that's
disappointment.
right, because we're so disappointed and we're like, what the fuck? Because people feel let down, and that's the thing. Every single factor that could play into you going into a good direction or a bad direction plays into you going into, or sorry, in any direction, it plays into you going into a bad direction. It's a downhill battle. It's a downhill slide.
I think a lot of it also could play into the fact that when they get sucked into these cultures, the social norms change, and they don't feel compelled. Like it doesn't.
Right, which is another factor. Which is another
conversation you're
factor.
talking before as to why it was surprising to them that any amount of weed was crazy, because the status of self-respect, not only to yourself, to other people, is a different level between other cultures. Like for us, if we saw you show up like that, we'd be like, what the fuck?
This is what we call societies. When we talk about societies, we're talking about a group of one to an infinite amount of people, because each one of these, it doesn't matter how big or small the group is.
A shared perspective.
Right.
That's interesting.
Where every person upholds a certain level of standard or whatnot, and that's kind of the point. Is that you as adults and just being the people that we are very, we are relatively strong and confident in our stances. This doesn't mean that people doing it are like, oh, so like fucking peer pressure, right? That's not the point. But
yeah, they never really go in depth about peer pressure, which was I think a really big loss point for all these people, because if they actually were more like, they're more articulate with how they describe peer pressure, because it's never, I mean, there has been cases where it's like straight up like, you're fucking lame if you don't take this bogey right now.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if
like peer pressure is more like an indirect form where all your friends suddenly are starting doing that, and you vision them as like maybe a cool clique.
I think peer pressure in its nature is something that is impossible to train against
And I agree.
fully.
But I think the point that we need to tell them is that self-control. Like we need to teach the kids that it is unacceptable.
Right, which is
circumstances.
a completely different approach. There are two different approaches. There is and you see this with sex ed because it's been going on. This is like a huge point in Ontario.
Sex ed, I think,
politics
was done very well.
I think it was done very well for our particular age group.
Very
it was done very, very well.
Bullshit.
That was like a prime time. You know, it was Kathleen Wynne's administration, and now is definitely shifted. And I think that now you could ask my mom about this. She knows way more. But like now, I think it's shifted more like conservative. And I thought, well, yeah,
I imagine it's actually shifted towards like they're like they don't want to fearmonger to the kids.
Bro, we should get like Mr. Gagne here. We should get some teachers.
Yo, you know, I would love to show up to one of these classes.
Get Mr. Gagne on the pod.
Treated again.
Oh, they're fucked. They're fucked. But anyways, there are two approaches: the kind of open approach and the clear cutoff approach. And the reason that the clear cutoff approach, what I like about the clear cutoff approach is it acknowledges that you will lose some people, and it acknowledges that it is better to lose some rather than to try to save everybody, and then you kind of get a little messed up.
Yeah, I think that's
so
what we've been doing so much lately, and that's what
right.
We're getting wrong.
So that's the point. When there's a clear cut, as in it's bad, what happens when somebody?
Where did you learn that, bro?
What's that?
Where did you learn that?
What?
What you just said? The clear cutoff approach. There's so many terms that you pull out there, and I'm so like impressed by them.
Thank you. I don't.
I'm so impressed. Where did you learn that?
Shut up, Hadi.
I wouldn't ask about it if I wasn't
like. Well, I don't know. I think there's a lot of different factors. I go straight to like I think about like Chinese schools, like.
Oh, like you got history lessons in that?
Well, my mom, the reason that I had like a good like opportunity in math or whatnot is because of my mom. And there's one thing that my mom really, really stressed. And by the way, my mom pulled up here from Russia, and she like understood the education system so well. Like she was actually so insightful about it. And what she always said to literally every single one, and every single immigration child will know their parents complaining about how shit the education is here. And what my mom always told them is that, open your eyes. It's not shit. It's just a different approach. Whereas in like foreign societies, often the approach is that you need to, basically what she said is that here, they will not let you fall off. But if you want to thrive, you're going to have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And then obviously she didn't say this. Everything going on from here is me. But the other side of that is obviously that if you do not, is that we will, if you are showing the potential, we are going to pull you right up. But if you are like falling off, goodbye. And interestingly, another kind of thing that occurred in my mind when I was thinking about this is the idea of a we society versus an individualistic society. And you obviously get the regional differences, and they sort of correlate. If you fall off because you're not that bright, but somebody else falls up in a society where it is a we mentality, that's actually not a bad thing. That's a good thing, because that person is going to basically work for you, if you understand what I mean. In a we society where everybody understands that their work is for the benefit of everybody in that society, it is actually much better. Every single individual should then logically feel good about this approach. However,
the approach to just bring everybody along, make sure nobody fails.
No. In a society where every single person is confident, in a society where every single person is confident that they work for the benefit of everybody, it then makes sense that you want to pull up the brightest people. Because if I'm not bright and I fall off, I shouldn't be worried about that, because the brightest people in that society will
take care of
us
and all the shortcomings of the other people.
Because those people, just like me, know that their advantage is for everybody's benefit.
It really is. It's an incredibly interesting. It's incredibly interesting fact, and I definitely do agree, because like as we said before, the top 20% make up the majority of the work. However, like the outcome that what we're doing, which is, I would say, more or less equality of outcome, equality of opportunity, which
and
is
also in yeah, right, equality, because it's more individualistic, to be clear.
in what you're talking about, individualistic, but in the approach that we're doing in Canada, which is not making sure nobody falls off, not enriching that top percent is pretty interesting. I mean, I still think we're doing a pretty good job, but in terms of like overall education, I think it's incredibly fascinating to think of how different people value themselves based on their level of education, because we have a lot of shortages in employment.
Sean knows a lot about that.
but think about it, like we have like a lot of employment shortages, not because they're not enough jobs. It's actually just because a lot of people think that they're valued a lot more than minimum wage jobs because of our base education.
I always talk about how identity is one of the only things that humans really live for, and so it affects all their actions.
Absolutely, and we perpetuate, especially with the education, we perpetuate a really grandiose idea of identity, especially here in Canada, and especially with all of the especially with social media. I think a lot of people are becoming not necessarily more ambitious, but more expecting more out of life, especially in their youth, and especially now that we see like TikTok and these incredibly quick sources of perspective. And I think this leads to an incredibly huge opportunity to fill in where the people are lacking and who don't want to work. Algo, OpenAI, shout out to all the automation.
Oh my God.
But I think that it's incredibly interesting, because I mean, the only reason that this could work in the way that it does, like how it is right now, is because we have the technological advantage. Like, it's very coincidental that we just happen
Is it working?
to suddenly, well, we don't know yet because it hasn't played out, but it's really coincidental that suddenly a lot of people don't want to work for jobs, especially post-COVID era. Like,
I don't know about that. That's,
well, I mean, that was
you're very political.
a little bit like David.
David Sachs.
A little too much like David, but I think it's true. Like
According to David Sachs,
I mean, even at the
90% of Americans with
They
a
don't wanna work
bachelor's degree
minimum wage.
do not want to work for jobs.
I think that's accurate though, to some degree. Like, and I think even All In mentioned this as well. Like, a lot of people don't want to work for things that they don't align with.
Look. If you need money, you're gonna work.
Well, absolutely, but like, you know, even with among peers, like from word of mouth.
Yo, I'm gonna just do another little anecdote here. There was this thing, I forget who said it, but they were essentially saying that everybody talking about, oh, these people are so bad. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, how the fucking companies who couldn't hire people were perpetuating the idea that these people are fucking lazy. Well, of course they don't want to work for you. You fucking pay them minimum wage and treat them like shit. So, bro, this is a function of the market.
These large companies were laying off white collar jobs who were making hundreds of thousands of dollars in salary per year.
Sure.
I think that's where the token of laziness comes in. I mean, obviously, you know, there's a lot of sides to that, but like,
they're not. No. There's a difference between layoffs and firing people.
No, I know.
Right. So
but like the layoffs.
Sorry, I wasn't testing whether you know the difference. I was making my point.
No, I know, and my point is like looking at like especially what Elon did with Twitter, and now what everybody followed suit because of, you know, main man Elon did. Like, it's not even that, like, it's not like they thought they were lazy before, because obviously you're not going to just fire that. It's these people. It's more just like you kind of realize you don't need that many people to run things.
Oh my God.
And as he said,
look,
when you don't have censorship,
hold on.
It's a lot easier to run your business when half of your people are working.
That's the thing, though. It's not like they're releasing the same products. They are closing down subdivisions of their company. A lot of those are just like, you know, R&D divisions, or where there is no product released, or it's something like censorship, which, you know, is maybe, you know,
but yeah,
the people are not lazy. That's not the people.
That's also just a function of the market. Like,
so. Maybe they had some pressures to cut down their expenses, and then they realized that in spite of that, and in spite of seeing, you know, the Twitter situation and looking at themselves, they realized that, okay, a place where they can cut corners now is, for example, let's say censorship. Although a lot of these white collar jobs are probably, as I said, some sort of R&D projects which just aren't as tangible, and so in a down market, there's less room for that. However, again, this doesn't mean that those people were bad workers. Just you can do a great job at something that does not matter. You're not lazy. It's just that the thing doesn't matter. And do you get my point?
No, I do, and I'm thinking about like when we hire a lot of people at these companies, and obviously the market accounts because we're pretty much in a recession, and this is something that was mentioned to me recently, where like I just think it's interesting that companies hire, especially larger companies, that they hire people who are not absolutely invested in what they are working in. As in, you see a lot in startups. I think I heard this when Lex Friedman was interviewing the CEO of Boston Dynamics, where he said when he first started, everybody was very directly interviewed to make sure that they're just actually passionate and they know how to solve these problems. And my question with that was wondering like why is it that they stop hiring those people? And I get that we need to have this work done, but isn't it like, because the question is like do these people, like, what is truly the percentage of the population of young people or just any people at all who are willing to put in like more than 40 hours a week into something that works or something that they care about?
Why would they put in into something they care about? People do put in more than 40 hours a week into something they care about. They just care about their families.
Of course, exactly, right? Like that's the crazy thing, that
it's not crazy.
People no, it's crazy that when we're here and we're trying to hire these big corporations, like they settle just for like the trade-off between like getting a lot of working hours and quality working hours is people who don't necessarily care about your product. And I think that's exactly why the turnover for large companies is a lot slower than imagined compared to startups. And that's not a crazy thing to say.
Wait, why is the turnover less for big companies?
Because while it is distributed faster and a lot of like quality things are fixed across these like lower levels, they're not as passionate towards it. And so the quality of the work is nowhere near as good.
Wait 1 second. Hold on.
A startup's turnover rate is incredibly fast.
As in people come in and leave a lot?
No, as in like they iterate the product really fast. In these larger companies, I think they trade off like quality workers for people who can just do the job. And as a result, there's a percentage that they do not do their job properly, and more so that they don't do something incredibly, I guess, innovative in whatever they're doing.
I think that basically every entity acts not based on ideal and principle, but based on pressures. And so
I think large entities fall under that.
All entities, most entities.
Well, I mean, incentives play a part in everything, but like the startups,
pressures. The startups need to iterate their products very quickly because they do not have other good ways to keep consumers in.
They don't have a product.
That's right. They don't have a product. They're building it. They're trying to find product market fit, or they're trying to fit their product to more people. They're trying to tweak it to more people. Whereas when a company matures, it no longer has those pressures necessarily. And that's what you saw with the layoffs. They came when there were pressures.
But that begs the question. Like,
so I'm not saying we should do this in our own companies.
No, I know. But that begs the question, like, okay, why should I hire like 100,000 people that will do their job okay when I can just hire maybe 50,000 people who will do their job exponentially well?
This is like what I'm crazy about in this moment is studying enough and being sophisticated enough in creating a good, solid, bulletproof, if you will, like business model from the get-go as best as you can, because once a company matures, it's really hard to pivot. And so, this is something that we can do now, but something that I've said a lot before is that these mature companies, they'll act just based off of instant pressures. They won't need to lay off loads of people if they don't feel like their profit is suffering. I mean, it's not like the CEO is going to get a direct payoff from laying off 50,000 people. In fact, it might really,
and it will harm their profits. Harm scare the investors.
It'll harm their life. Yeah, they're going to get fucking shit on the internet. Whereas now the new companies, they're obviously going to act based off
exactly
of this.
That's exactly it. Like as a new company, what is the game plan now? Like, am I going towards it in the traditional way where we've you know, what like people are so eager to scale and become a big company when honestly it seems that a lot of these more startup-ish companies can produce triple the value that you could typically expect from a company with so much less people.
Look,
And especially with, you know, AI.
we have to stop, like, you know, TikToking shit. It's very boring. You know, how big is a company? Well, you've got the size of its employee base, and then you've also got the size of its profit. And if you say the company is very valuable, then it better have a whole lot of revenue, because otherwise I don't know how the fuck it's valuable.
Shit.
So
Ask OpenAI.
OpenAI has a shit ton of profit.
That's what I'm saying. I think
a shit ton of revenue.
I think OpenAI is like probably a good example of one of the smallest teams
Right.
to revenue and
or a stable diffusion. I think they talked about it on All In. They're saying how it's like a few people. Or Instagram. When Instagram came out, it was like 4 or 5 people. They sold it to Facebook. So
Figma as well, just 2 guys.
Figma was not 2 guys when they sold it to Adobe.
Why is Facebook not extinct yet?
Oh shit! I thought it was 2 guys.
There's no way.
Actually, it's 2 guys.
Matt, at the time of purchase, it was called Facebook. Thus, what I said is factually correct. I don't actually know if it is. We'd have to look into that.
No, Instagram definitely Instagram definitely was bought by Facebook.
Well, technically it was bought. Hadi's right. Technically it was bought by. Thank you, Hadi, for fact checking this.
The SRB fact checkers.
I sincerely apologize. At 10:32 p.m., I said that Instagram was purchased by Facebook. I sincerely apologize for the mistake. I know that this affects the integrity of my reporting. In fact, it was purchased by Meta. Moving on.
So as like a founder, you know, it's really interesting. I think it's incredibly interesting that the dynamic that we have between each other, because we would definitely take 2 different approaches to being a CEO, and not even in a way as if not even a way as if we think either of us is wrong. It's just that we just have a different perspective. Coincidentally,
do we?
You're just so incredibly technical about it. And
I feel like I'm really hard to talk to.
I actually disagree. I think you're incredibly.
I was about to say I'm like.
No, I don't think that's the case. I think you'd be very articulate. I think you'd actually be very.
You're a better founder. I'm a better CEO. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, that's an interesting thing to say, though. That's a really.
It doesn't fucking matter, because we're just both going to be both.
Yeah, exactly. No, but how would what is it? I don't know what does it take to be like a CEO, bro?
Please your investors. Please your stakeholders. So
do you think Steve Jobs pleased investors? What's the difference between?
No, they fucking hated him. That's why they fired him.
I think what? They fired Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs was ousted as the CEO of Apple.
Really?
In the late 1900s or
1900s,
like 1980 something. No.
What?
Apple,
Are you serious?
Apple was founded in Hadi. When was Apple founded?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Steve Jobs was ousted as the CEO. Did he still have equity?
So I actually searched up a few days ago. 84.
Really?
Anyways, Apple was founded when Steve Jobs was in college, and he started out as, I don't know if he was even the CEO. I think he was the president or something. Maybe he was the CEO.
Did he get dropped down to CTO?
No. Like they.
Oh, he's just out, gone.
Sorry, April 1, 1976.
So Apple was founded in 1976.
Wow.
I think somewhere in the 1980s, or maybe even earlier. So basically, what happened was they released the Macintosh. It was, I don't fucking remember. Anyways, the point is, Steve Jobs was ousted as CEO. He was voted out, and then out of spite, he sold all of his shares in Apple. And I read some, I don't know, it could have been some bullshit, but they said that they would have been worth $300 billion today. Anyways,
wait.
So that
what is all this talk? What is all this Steve Jobs rating talk? Like what?
So, but
he didn't do none of it.
But then he came back in 1998.
Okay,
and released the iMac, iPhone, MacBook.
Yeah. Okay, so he's a design king.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Okay, so why did you clickbait me that he had no power in his
Sorry?
company? Why did you clickbait me that he had no power in his company? Was he the CEO when he came back?
He came back, but he didn't have like a much. Bro, I'm sorry, what?
I personally put Bill Gates over Steve Jobs because Windows.
Listen, I don't give a fuck. Anyways, moving on. Hadi, shut the fuck up.
Yo, shh.
Bro,
You're too
I hate fucking PCs. I'm gonna just say it. Like, I'm sorry. This whole. Anyways,
Do you hear that, Hadi? Fan on your laptop, on your Windows
I
laptop.
don't know how the fuck is I pulled out a goddamn gaming laptop.
It's a gaming PC
Bro,
with
how do you
NVIDIA
what,
RTX,
how does,
and it's
did you-
louder than
This
the
reminds me of
hum
when
in the room.
Cole was fucking always turning up his goddamn laptop. Hadi was like, Cole was like purposely in class, like turning up his PC's fans to fucking annoy the teacher. Anyways, sorry. Yeah, so he founded Pixar. That's where the fortune of the Jobs family comes from. But when he came back to Apple, I don't think he ever got
So this guy
a reasonable amount, like any
just an
sort of.
artist. This guy's just an artist. So do we want artists as CEOs?
Well, typically not, because usually artists fail to make something that's marketable
Why?
because their art is of their soul, and the market is the market. That's why
Are
most.
you just a marketable artist?
That's up to the market to decide. And I have a separation between that's the catch-all with Motive, is that like there's things that I do where I don't really care if the market likes them or not, because that's my art, and then there's things that I do where it's completely like based on like it's like completely sold out, right? It's based on playing into capitalism.
So, wow. No, I'm just actually more taken aback that I'm just more taken aback that whatever his name, sorry, Steve Jobs,
Yeah.
dipped, bro.
Well, he was super young.
Yeah.
There's this term that they always use in, I think it's like they use in Silicon Valley, always like parental supervision, when like some sort of young college person happens to make a really fat company, and then the investors, the VCs, come and give them parental supervision, as in they bring in a new CEO, right? Because
They
they're
think
like,
they know. They think they know.
So yeah, so when Steve Jobs came in the second time around,
Did that happen to Larry Page and the other one? The Google guys?
No, I think they just left because they're
More
just
tired.
chill. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they came back. Allen said they came back.
They came back because chat.
It's funny,
GPT
yeah,
pulled
because
up.
ChatGPT. It's funny because Allen was roasting them for coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
They were like, "Oh, you guys are
they
not."
need help, bro. Like, please, I'm so scared. Come back, save us. You're like, come back from their super yacht. They're like,
That's what they
"Oh
were
my
saying.
God."
They were saying they're on the beach. Yeah.
Um,
What's this open AI? What
what
is
do you
this?
want? Microsoft? They did what? 10 billion?
What? Bro, that actually be such a listen. When they make the social network for like ChatGPT, that's gonna be the funniest scene. You'll just see like some guy like chilling on a beach, having like fucking martinis brought up to him. Then like you know the do you know the meme where the guy it's like Ratatouille and he's like reading the letter?
Oh yeah,
It's
bro.
like him. He'll be like, "Oh, what is it?" He's like, later. They're like, "No, this is important." He's like, "Oh, whatever. What is it?"
Zooms in his face.
Then they're like, "Give me my plane. we're going to San Francisco.
Get the cloud computing. Get the servers. Get 40 warehouses. We need more. What is it called? Tensor boards. I forgot to get the graphics card, bro. GPUs, TPUs.
He uses PyTorch.
Yeah. Yo, people who use TensorFlow actually taking L's, bro.
Wow, I wasn't wrong.
Dude,
I thought you'd be a TensorFlow kind of guy.
Bro, I tried to use it and it was actually so annoying to set up. I think there's just no support on Mac. That's why. But it was still tedious nonetheless when I was using
I
it.
think you were just being fucking stupid.
Really, I spent like 2 weeks on that, man. There's no
You
stupid.
spent 2 weeks trying to set up TensorFlow.
on my MacBook, yes. Like client-sided as well. Like,
Don't
can
you just
use
fucking
it.
download it? The fucking packages.
You do it right now. Do pip install TensorFlow. See what happens. Pull up your IDE. It's not gonna do shit. You know what's gonna say? It's gonna say not
We're
found.
actually fucking doing this right now.
You could actually
This
do
is
it.
so fucking good. Oh my god, this is so. Good.
Actually do it. Actually do it. I'm not an idiot.
This is
Like,
so funny.
there's just no support on Mac, bro.
Fuck off.
Do you even have an IDE?
Who the fuck do you think I am, bro?
Do you have VS Code?
I went to Waterloo. I went to Waterloo. Wait, it's because I have to.
Do you have VS Code?
How the fuck do you think I was making our website, bro?
Why isn't it on your dashboard, bro? You're really not a computer programmer.
I'm not a fucking-
Dude, look, I got Slack, I got Figma, I got Roblox, I got VS Code, Blender, PyCharm.
You don't fucking use PyCharm.
What's your mod?
I know PyCharm.
What's your mod package?
After I got every time I got ever since I got VS Code, I realized everything else was inferior.
It's so sick. It's actually
so good.
Yo, sometimes I just use it.
Roblox is better, bro. C++, Roblox, TM.
Anyways,
All right, yo, keep talking while I try to be able to share my screen.
yo, what note should I take on right now? I think I channeled my energy of being obsessed with all people and interested in their own perspectives to being interested in only incredibly impressive people and the small little things that make people better than everybody else. And I always take note of that. And I think Andrew just has such a wide repository of information that I do not have access to, and I'm so jealous. Just kiss her.
Okay, I would have to restart Chrome in order to let it share my screen, which I'm not gonna do right now. But I will still do this test. We're gonna do it.
Wait, no, because you're gonna cut off the stream.
No. I'm not gonna share the screen, but we're just gonna do it just for funny.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here we go.
Don't restart Chrome.
See, for the record, my terminal is in my fucking dock. I'm a real computer
Bro,
programmer.
you know why? You know why it's not in my dock? Because I just opened it in VS Code.
Yeah, I know. I realized that the VS Code terminal is way better.
Okay, do it.
Also, by the way, the reason I had it in my dock is not because I use it daily, because I think it makes me look like a programmer.
Oh, I see. Yo, show them. Do. Oh my God, what Python do you have? Do you have Miniconda? Okay, just do percentage. Actually, no, it's not working. Do pip install, bro. Pip3 install. No, put 3 right beside it.
You know I don't use it.
And then just do TensorFlow, like straight out TensorFlow. You're gonna see nothing comes up, and if it does it, I'm just gonna kill myself right here, right now.
It's funny because I have everything installed, but I never use it.
What the fuck?
Alright.
What the fuck? No. What the hell? Dude. I'll do it right now. It's just not going to work.
Just for the record.
What?
It was nice showing you, bud.
I actually am speechless. I spent like 2 weeks trying to run
This artificial intelligence engineer is speechless that I just.
PyTorch is still research standard. I still use that. It's way better. Are you serious?
Bro, if I was being
They updated it. There was no. They updated. There's no way.
it was a bug. It was a bug. So it was a bug, and supposedly there was a fucking bug.
How do I cancel this? I don't want this on my computer. I don't want this garbage tainting my database.
Yeah, I'm fucking quitting this. I don't need this.
Nah, they updated it, bro. There's
Okay,
no.
I
way.
now have 20% of TensorFlow downloaded on my computer, so thank you for that.
You're welcome. You can use it to make. A language.
All right.
Yeah, it's
anyways,
over.
Back to,
I think I'm already in hell.
bro, that's like the type of things that they do in like mainstream movies when they try to like paint people as nerds. They'll do some like dumb shit like that.
Yeah, this is that. Now they know that we're the nerds. Yeah,
Bro, but it's like, what the fuck?
this is actually just like. That's crazy, bro.
I use ChatGPT to program on the daily.
Dude, like that's the thing with ChatGPT,
I
I'm
made so
super
much
excited
shit
for
with
these,
Chat.
like for these like really
Yeah.
incredibly agnostic
No,
models,
it,
because like there's a threshold. If
'Cause-
you really know something, ChatGPT is completely useless. But if you don't know what's going on, it looks like it's so.
yo, real quick, like on this. Remember we were in the car and that was such a good conversation because that was in perspective about how like
We should
about
support
the
our
difference.
cars because I
right
swear we have such
they're
good
the
points.
that are better ones, right?
I swear I just
We're
sound
wasting a lot
so
of
much
gas,
better.
but yeah. So basically we were talking about
You got the gas
essentially what
money.
we were talking about was the difference between the artist and the business person, and the difference between creating value that you want to personally capture, or just
Yeah.
there's something that you just want to exist in the world. And I've talked about the first time I used ChatGPT. I don't know why it was so crazy considering that we've had, Siri and shit around for a while and Amazon Echo. Although I think I sort of had the same reaction to
What was that?
to Amazon Echo.
Basics of
But
Echo and Siri, were they machine learning models as well? I don't think they were like too.
they were I don't think they were
they're not,
large
like,
language
crazy
models.
NLPs.
They weren't that they there was a lot of, I think there was a lot of different things tied together, but it was a lot of
I think it was like pre-programming.
Yeah, it was a lot of pre-programming. But it also had to do with making the thing speak. That was also the other
That was
technological advancement, right? Yeah. So using I have used Chat GPT to make some simple programs in the past, which is all I'm capable of, unfortunately. But just this past week when I was trying to create motive.world, I was using Chat GPT, and funny enough, again, like it was the most, like the website is fucking trash, to be completely frank with you, but nonetheless, like it truly was like, wow, like this actually exists. And like, yeah, in terms of like creating stuff that you want to exist in the world, like you're right, John, you're actually right. Yo, people should be able to just create fucking programs and shit, and essentially people should be able to express their creativity in the most kind of advanced ways, which would require operation, right? There's a difference between idea and being able to operate. And we talked about how most people, I think all in with some of the people that put this in my brain, as in like most people don't actually know how to use 100% of Photoshop. They probably don't even know how to use 20% of Photoshop, but they have ideas that would absolutely.
I don't think that was all in. I think that was just us.
No, it was all in. Yeah, maybe I forgot to reference them, but or maybe we just say all in so much that it kind of becomes whatever thing. But yo, you're right. People, like it is such a just a like a humanly empowering superpower to be able to it makes sense in so many other ways. Like it not only it really
saves
is fucking
time,
awesome.
It not only saves time, but it just enables so many people. Like it really takes away that need for incredibly specialized people for them to just specialize in being unique to themselves.
Yeah.
And empowering consciousness in that sense
yeah.
is incredibly valuable because the rate of ideation is just going to expand exponentially just because of the ability to allow humans to make things through their creativity. And then once the AI becomes like the standard for scientific development or even any sort of creative outlet, it's just over. And I envision that the way that things develop is not going to become like we're gonna I think the idea of like celebrities and idols is going to fall out. And this is just like speculation, but I think that we're like tight-knit communities are going to be a lot more relevant to people than any sort of like grand figure. Like for example, like within Ottawa there's like communities, and I see it like like you can see it like any sports group, someone is revered, or in your dance culture there's like a couple people that you know very well. And I think it's going to be like that. It's just going to expand so much more, and that there's going to be very niche problems that people are just going to solve within their communities instead of like really big ones. I think that and maybe that's a sad thing, but I think that just the requirement
it's a happy thing.
But like I think just the requirement for like more incredibly large scale problem solving things will require a small difference that only a few people may have, and though that will be incredibly interesting to see.
What do you mean? That's
why I'm so like infatuated with the idea of like mastery and these incredible like experts in their field, because I think the ability to create like incredible impact on the world will more and more require incredible feats of human capability. Like you're gonna need somebody who can actually have rich creative thought in a very holistic view oriented towards whatever perspective. Like you're going to need an incredibly smart and
you think that somebody has to be the genius to be in a room where everybody's arguing about the decision. They're like, I have it.
Well, yes. And I think that's already how it is today, but I think that maybe it's really nerdy to say that the geniuses are going to be the only people who can make value that stretches beyond their community.
Isn't that the case today?
No, because you can have like you can just be. I would say no, because like there's a lot of oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, I see this is exposing me because I fiddle so much when we're like in our in my little studio. Well, you fiddle with Minecraft, so it's a little different.
Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. You see, you're watching a lot of Hell's Kitchen, but I don't see a commemorative Beef Wellington for us yet. Where's the beef Wellington, Hadi?
15 minutes, chef.
Yeah, speaking of which, I hate how places close lately. We can't even go to a restaurant after this.
I was thinking that
bullshit.
so much.
It's fucking
You know,
bullshit, man.
actually,
I remember like last summer, like
Picking up my cooking grind. I actually gotta get on
I think Osmos closes at closes at 11.
Osmos is ass, bro. Please do not even like talk about. Bro, Osmos, bro. Like,
this was not this. We sometimes we go on tangents based on things that we say unexpectedly, but this is not one of those cases. So back to what we were talking about.
Anyways, but yeah, like it's gonna be so exciting to see how it progresses. I really do think that like value, being able to produce high value, is going to be limited to a certain.
Is it not limited today?
No, and because like resources, it's because the resources that are widespread can be allocated in various ways. Whereas in the future, I believe that it's not going to be allocated in the same means, as in nepotism, or you know like being able to be very very well equipped with money. I think like we're gonna see less of that, and we're gonna see more of like just straight up people being good for being good at doing something. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see how this connects to less people creating value. I think
at less value, like on a more. I mean, obviously we're gonna have more people who are able to produce it, but like I think there's.
I agree with you. You're saying this ties into the whole like Naval.
I'm saying like if you don't necessarily have like a particular creative ability, you're gonna be outshined by those who do on a global scale.
Is that not the case today?
Well, no, because we don't see people able to create like incredibly empowering technologies within their community. Like for example, like you don't have there's not an everyday person that can create an app for their dance community that will work specifically for the niches of that community. And I think we'll see more of those products exist instead of
people
grander.
Yeah, right.
Like I feel like this is pretty like off topic, or it's pretty like it makes no sense for it to actually exist, but like we might see things like Instagram type things for like smaller communities.
Well, yeah, the Figmatization of everything means that every single product can be customized more so to
exactly.
Again, how does this
specific sort of platform?
Okay, so what you're saying is that
maybe
is that since people are going to create things for scales which they understand very very well, in order to create something that captures a global audience, you have to understand the global audience in some way as well. You have to individually understand each. You have to understand, like, find the silver linings that can actually compete with somebody who understands their community. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Like you'll have to have.
Yeah.
Like it'll have to be like either something that is clearly a very general problem that everybody encounters, or your product is incredibly innovative that it can apply to a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Because like I can already see
and these are huge business problems.
Exactly. And I already see something like Instagram being replaced by smaller communities if they were empowered to do so. Like it would make so much more sense to have like a Danceagram for like dance communities, or like even like an entire SRB app page that a lot of people can connect through and meet each other and network through just SRB. Because imagine if a lot of schools were empowered to do so, you'd have a lot more like maybe school spirit or a lot of more retention of people and friendships between those schools, which could just empower the community sense.
Right. And a lot of this is art. Like one of the things that I wrote down this week, I was talking about I've talked about Be Real once before, I think here last week, and you're kind of laughing. And
because I know you're right, but I don't want to go on. So I don't want to spend any more time on my phone than I already did.
That's fine, but I realized like the reason that I love Be Real, so I've loved many apps and I love Be Real, and I'll say is like
you love paparazzi. Where is it at right now?
No, that I did not love that. I was fucking. It was a meme. It was funny.
I know.
Basically, my point is that Be Real to me is art, in the sense that I wish that I would have created Be Real
previously. Was my audio good previously there, chat?
Keep going.
Mute your Google Meet, bro. It's gonna echo.
I did.
He's talking to OBS.
Oh, sorry.
So
I was just asking chat if my audio was.
please do not ask chat if your audio is good while
Sounds very unprofessional.
Thank you very much.
Blank.
Anyways,
Last week you wouldn't have heard us because you would have heard Minecraft, so I guess this is the better of the two options.
yeah, this is.
Anyways,
We're improving every day, guys.
So going to being able to create, I guess there's a mix between functionality and art here, because I was talking about being able to create art that you envision, and you were talking about to be able to create tools that you know to be good, as in to fit your kind of market. Well, and there might be a combination as well. I wanted to talk about how I wish I would have created Be Real and not caring about whether it's a good company or not, like not in order to be rich. I wish I would have created it because it's like, to me, it's like art. Like I just love the app so much. I'm like, damn, like I should have created this. And the thing is, I did not know that until I actually opened Be Real and I saw it in action on somebody else's phone. And I was like, an emotion struck in me. I'm like, wow, like this is art, and that's the thing. It's not like overly functional. There's really not that much to it, and that's
like,
kind of
there's no like opportunity for like incredible advertising.
Right. It's kind of like minimalism, for example, right? Like that's part of why I love it. So it really is,
but it's
like art, and often, right. And the thing is, what I was saying earlier is that art comes from the soul, and then most of the time nobody really gives a shit about it other than the person who created it. And so, for example, in the case of Be Real, I didn't really know that I loved it until I saw it in action. But like, for example, even if I could have created apps 50%, in half the time, I would have just created more apps, which means I would have just created more art, for example. But the other thing is that you can, small communities might like some art because they know the lore, even like inside jokes, for example, right? So again, when you have more, when you are empowered to create what you envision, for example, some sort of technological thing, then you're able to maybe create more art that is tuned to your community, and also it feels like you have the chance to do that in this whole kind of lore. I mean, obviously the most extreme is like what's called UBI, right? So then you're like, oh, let me just be an artist.
But the thing is about UBI is that it still doesn't necessarily empower you to do everything, because that resource is still
right.
Money is still very.
You still time is still the resource then.
Exactly, and something like algo, bro. Every day I realize that I need it in everyone's lives.
But no, I'm serious, bro. When I fucking this. I mean, fuck. We do sound kind of like
preachy, yeah.
Because this has been Silicon Valley since day one.
Yeah.
But yo, I swear, creating like using
automation
to create the fucking website felt so sick, and it's like it's real. If you have an idea and you can create it faster, you're more likely to do it. And then you'll see what happens, and then the market will decide.
It really is a saving on the resource of time, which is incredibly important. But moreover, I think, in a more interesting way, it solves the issue where people discuss obsolescence in terms of being taken over by AI. Obviously, a physical threat could be there, but I still don't think it is. But in terms of an existential threat towards purpose, even if these agents surpass us in a conscious way and they ditch us, still the ability for everybody to essentially be in creative mode, to just create whatever they want to create, is incredibly empowering.
It's beautiful.
And it still doesn't you can't take away value in that sense, because now there's really nothing too much stopping you from producing something of value, because the barriers are gone. And even if something can produce something way better than you, the chances of someone creating an AI that solves everybody's very niche problem to the will of everybody's niches is incredibly unlikely, because then everybody would have to comply to give information to that within the niche, which makes no sense. And so you're going to see with things like algo that we're going to have a lot of people empowered to solidify their attachment to the communities, and moreover solidify that humans have a very unique experience that can't be replaced by something that could automate consciousness. As long as humans exist, that is. As long as there are more humans, as long as they're a community, there is no reason for humans to be obsolete. And I think that's very poetic to the nature of human existence, because we talk often about consciousness and about value, and it usually, a lot of it typically revolves around a couple things, which is self-actualization and then also experiences, but more importantly, experiences with other people or the one other person. And regardless of where you're from, you typically have a community alongside with that. And so I think it's really interesting that the perspective is that, you know, it's going to end very abruptly with the advent of technology. But I really do think that we're just going to be more empowered to do
Careful there
things.
on who. Not everybody has that perspective. That's
Of course not. And you know, like, it is what it is, because time will tell how it comes out. You know, like Jan LeCun and Yud were beefing so hard on Twitter about the outcome. But, you know, I think, like, this is just a me thing, but I really don't think that no agent is gonna, like, be able to, like, remove us. Do you really think that someone's gonna make, like, a fucking Terminator, and even if that Terminator would be even capable of killing us?
Well, I don't know, John, but I would not make any conclusions for or against it.
You know what? I challenge the. Just kidding. Please don't kill me. If anything, it'll be
Auto GT.
If anything, it's gonna be me who makes
See,
it.
you're a little scared. You're a little scared there, huh? It's kind of like that thing where you're
Well,
like not religious, but like you still like won't do certain things.
Yeah.
All right, like
You
it's
still
like
pray,
like
you still pray.
yeah, right.
It's like,
well,
you,
that's
like, right before
it was.
you die, you're like, I accept the Lord Jesus Christ as our Savior.
Well, this was kind of one of the original kind of witty quotes. I forgot who said it. That, you know, if you're questioning whether you should be faithful or not, then it, you know, if there is no, if yeah, exactly. Fuck out this cat. If
I prayed. I went to the mosque.
if God doesn't exist, then you lose nothing.
I went to there's a prayer room here in the UCU, and I went with we did what is it? It starts with a D. The hood, that one. That's like one person leading, and then there's 5. There was all of us online.
Who'd you go with?
I went with Ahmed Soba. Ahmed Soba, yeah.
Did he like show you like how to wash up?
No, maybe I don't know.
John was just doing it for the photo, and then he was out.
Nah, I was actually having fun, bro. I was just like, yeah, Ahmed Soba.
Religion is about having fun. It's about dedicating yourself to
It's
the
about
Lord.
community, as I said. It's about community, faith in your other brother.
You say that AI will not kill. You say that AI will not kill you, and yet you will not look inside that camera.
Guys are not
And-
Muslim. I had to preface that.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah, you're breaking. Oh my God, that would be crazy if the duality was
What?
if I was never mind. If I was Ahmed Soba, and
What?
if I was Ahmed and you were Rotem.
Why is that a
Oh,
I don't know. What do you mean? Okay.
What do you mean by that?
Anyways, I,
I don't know.
love
I don't
Ahmed.
know.
Shout out to your photo with Omar in Ryokan saying you're in Dubai. In my opinion, that was still one of the funniest photos I've ever seen in my life. Like that was really, like that was so fucking funny,
It would
bro.
have been even funnier if like they had like the shoes, bro. Like, you know, like the shoes. Wait,
No.
do they go barefoot in the Mecca?
I'm just sure.
Yeah. Would you go to the Mecca?
Yeah,
Are you going to?
I
You have to, right? Yeah. What happens if you don't and you die?
Well,
Do you go to Jaheen?
It really depends.
John is learning.
I'm always interested in cultures, guys. Like, see, this is just I'm just interested in people.
Yes.
You can't ask like.
You're not allowed to ask questions. It's haram.
Well,
It's haram.
I wonder why religion discourages people from asking questions.
Some things are just meant to be the way they are. You know?
When I talked to my Catholic priest, I questioned why he brought little Timmy to the back room every time, and he said, "Don't ask questions or you go to hell." Oh man.
Well, actually, according to scientific
Father
research,
Francis
we
was
no
too
longer.
kind to me.
This guy. We do not hold any sort of. We do not hold
How's that a
anything
stereotype?
against.
Like, how's
what?
that a thing that like how did that?
Bro,
ever
facts.
become
Out
true?
of all stereotypes, how do you as a fucking worldwide global entity get the worst stereotype
Yes,
possible that you're
pedophiles.
fucking pedophiles?
How could
You could have you could have picked any
And
fucking
it's not even like followers. It's like the leaders of your churches.
and it's
How
not
could
even a
that
fucking
happen?
it's not like some sort of company.
How does that
You're
happen?
literally a
Wait,
fucking
like,
religion.
why is it like what is that thing? Like I swear
It's always the fucking like groups, right? Like it's always like the cults, right?
no, it's like regular ass churches.
No, but that's the point. It's always like the cults and the religions that are getting like allegations
Oh,
You know?
yeah, but
for doing some crazy. It always has to do with sex. It always has to do with fucking sex.
that's the craziest thing, man. It's not even crazy. It actually makes so much sense. Like that's the most primal urge to want to control people en masse to do. Like that makes absolute sense. That's like the center of all cults. Like what's the one in Oh, you know, there's one in Kingston. It's and shout out to tried to get me to go there, at which Freddie Cheval and I had a consensus to say no, we're not going there.
Dude.
But
Once,
no,
bro, you do not know what that is. Listen. Okay, stop pitching your microphone. Anyways.
no, but thank you. But like we were told to go there, and he's like, yeah, there's food, there's like free food, like soup, they all grow it there. I'm like, grow it there, and they say it's on a farm. There's no cell service.
Do you remember the time we watched Midsummer?
Yeah,
That was so sick with the fucking. I remember everybody's laughing their asses off too.
yeah, it was, bro. But they were describing it like it was midsummer. They do like dances and circles in front of a fire. They have tea, and they were playing, bro. And they told me to go. I wanted to go, but like I was like,
You wanted to go for the lore.
I wanted to go. Yeah, exactly.
This
I
guy's
wanted
a
the story.
This guy's a little too.
You know, next time,
Johnny's a little too curious. He stumbled into
I feel like though next time
he
I
stumbled
go,
into
it
the
is gonna
wrong
be a
part of the cult. He got caught. He got caught lurking around the cult base. Oh no!
It was scary, bro. They had
Bro.
to live in a barn. But you know
You're
what?
gonna be like,
you know
what's
what it was,
this over here?
But you know
You
what?
turn
you know
behind,
what the
you've looked-
lore though.
Well,
The lore
what's
about the cult. It's they need like 100,000 virgin men to be sacrificed at like the stake, and then Jesus Christ will be reborn. But the funny thing is, none of the men who join are virgins, so they just
Listen,
they just get like women, and then they are allowed to have babies with them as many times as they want, so they can make more virgin men. And it's usually just the leader who bangs all the women.
are they bad? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but like, why is it always a sex thing? Like, why is it always a sex thing? Like, why don't they just find regular virgin men? They have to make their own
Because
babies.
people don't want to fucking die.
That's true, but they're condemning their children to death.
Well, yeah, it's that the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ can be.
Oh,
reborn.
of course. Sorry,
Silly.
I'm so sorry.
Are you seriously questioning it right now?
Yeah, you're right. Oh, Jesus, I'm so sorry.
This guy, Hadi, we're gonna have to. This guy is. His mind
knows
is
how
his
to-
mind is really wandering.
Are you
Outside
to the-
of.
They already have like 100,000 members or something like that. They just need 100,000 virgin members.
Yeah,
It's like big.
per-
It's a big cult.
Hadi,
Shout out, don't
Hadi,
shout
would
out.
you be a?
We should have censored the cult name. We don't want to like give them publicity.
Oh no, canceled.
It's not even canceled.
Hadi,
I don't want them to.
they're looking for virgin men. Would you guys be eligible members?
Would you be eligible members?
Moving on.
Would you be eligible? Oh,
We're gonna go talk to this guy.
wait, what?
I don't have teeth.
Can we bring the camcorder with us?
Oh, he mad.
Nah, he's just telling us that to wrap it up.
Oh yeah. What's red? Yo, that's so cringe. Okay.
All right. Well,
How's the props?
No, pause.
wait, what? No, we should cut.
See outside animation?
We could find some like.
All right.
Yo, Rito McDonald's closed, so we can't even go there now.
I don't think we want to go. Bro, we're gonna continue the podcast at Reno McDonald's. All right.
I was
Anyways,
really thinking of bringing like a GoPro so we could like bring it outside.
dude.
Dude, we need
Hadi's-
so many recording equipment.
listen.
Does a camcorder yo? You need to charge the camcorder next time, bro. We could actually bring it outside, tour the campus and shit.
Yo, the thing is, it has to get plugged into like something.
What do you mean?
It has to get plugged into something to.
Oh, we can't like just send it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that though. You could maybe connect to iPhone or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right, Hadi, you can come into mainframe for the first one, for the end of the first one. All right.
Yeah, we gotta like
Boys.
get our thumbnail, bro. Is this our thumbnail?
This
No, our thumb-
should have been from the start, though. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, I know that you were really trying to. I saw you. I saw you. You know, you were
Inching towards
us.
ever so slowly.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, because like
I felt your body heat getting so close, and I was so happy about it.
Okay. All right. It's still Ramadan Friday, so we'll let him be halal. But anyways, this has been Motive Podcast number 23. Thank you very much for watching.
Did you make it up?
And
Are you doing extra days or did you miss days?
I didn't miss any. I do extra.
Oh, really? So he's more halal than everybody around us.
But yeah, basically we can set this up way better.
Yeah.
About this after we get these guys out of here. But yeah.
all right.
It's been
He's gonna drive us out.
So yeah, thanks for tuning in, boys. Thank you for even though there might be one.
This has been Motive Pod in person, first of many.
Mashallah.
We're out here. We're gonna do it again, and we're gonna come back better than ever. Oh, I can't wait, baby. I can't wait. This is Motive Pod. We'll see
Hadi,
you
do you have
guys.
anything to say? Yo, give him the double mic.
Yeah. What do you have to say about this? What do you have to say about Motive Pod being in person for the first time? This shit lit. You heard it here, folks.
On gang.
Motive Pod 23.
Goodbye.
We'll see you next time, boys.
Bye. We're going all in.